Hi everyone, how you doing? I've been away for a while. I've been sorting out my life on a personal tip, but I'm just back just to do a quick video about the Holocaust, psychiatry and eugenics. The reason for doing this video was because I went to the shopping centre and I saw a sculpture of 6 million buttons, and there was a little plaque saying these buttons represent how many people died during the Holocaust. And I thought to myself, like, I think rather than having a stupid sculpture with 6 million buttons and having everyone sit there and look and say, oh wow, look how many people it was, I think we should really just teach people like what happened. So I just thought I'd do a quick video explaining how the Holocaust happened. Obviously I won't account for all events because it's fairly complicated, but I'll just look at a few of them. So first of all, in order to do this, we'll have to look at subjects like eugenics. Eugenics is basically the study of improving the human race, whether that's by selective breeding and killing off undesirable human beings which we don't want in the future. So it even goes back to ancient Rome. They used to get like babies, if they were deformed, they'll just kill them off because no one wanted them. And they wanted like a perfect race. Even in ancient Greece, city-states like Sparta, known for its military forte, they would get rid of like kids which weren't really strong because they only wanted like the strongest. So the idea is basically to have a really good, strong human race. And in modern times, what basically happened was in the 19th century, Francis Galton first coined the term to, the term eugenics as a study of improving the human race. And what happened in 1916, there was an American lawyer called Madison Grant, and he wrote a book called The Passing of the Great Race, where he sets out his ideas over the superiority of certain race groups. And he thought that basically in Northern Europe, in Scandinavia and Finland, those kind of areas, in and around this area, Nordic is what they're called, he thought that this race is superior to other races because the cold weather and the harsh winters made people more resistant. And he thought that the superior human beings originally come from the Nordic area. And the first Americans, like when Christopher Columbus discovered the place and people started flooding in, the strongest or the original colonial stock were Nordic, and they later got mixed up with other races. So he thought in order to improve the human race, to make it free from disease and people that are a burden on society, we'll have to interbreed amongst the Nordics to get the strongest, the fittest, basically. And his idea was seized on by Adolf Hitler. And in fact, Adolf Hitler wrote a letter to Madison Grant saying it was his Bible. So the ideas aren't totally German, they're actually European. In fact, in 1907, the President Woodrow Wilson in America advocated sterilization, and in states like Virginia, people were sterilized. And so the idea has been around for a long time, but during the Holocaust, what we see is a really extreme case. So what happened was in the 1920s, psychiatrists like Alfred Hoche started advocating that the mentally ill were inferior and we needed to get rid of them. Karl too, which they worked together on producing papers. What happened was in 1933, Ernst Rudin, who's one of the most famous psychiatrists, the founding fathers of Nazi ideology, he created a paper and pushed forward the law for the prevention of hereditary diseased offspring, where they passed a law that if you had a disease or you had some kind of illness, you weren't allowed to breed anymore. So slowly, it started off with a small seed that started spiraling into something much bigger. And this psychiatrist passed a law through the Department of German Health, and it just became normal. And what happened was, with the outbreak of law, what they did, doctors like Dr. Karl Brandt and Philipp Bouhler, they set up the Nazi T4 program, which was basically there to kill off over 250,000 people who had hereditary or some kind of illness, whether it be a mental illness or a physical disability. Because with the outbreak of war, these people were a burden to the taxpayer, and if they could free up the time that these people were taking with doctors, it would be better used for the German war effort. So it's like an idea of racially purifying a German race from which had elements of Nordic and Aryan warped ideology from Hitler, and his psychiatrists and doctors weren't necessarily just a Nazi idea. It was kind of like the pinnacle of this warped thinking which was taking place at the time. And the sad thing is, it probably could have happened anywhere. It happened to be in Germany. So they started killing off the undesirables with a T4 program until 1942, the Wannsee Conference. They found the final solution, which was the Wannsee Conference. They set up the concentration camps of Majdanek, Treblinka, Sobibor, Auschwitz and Belzec, the final solution for the mass murder and industrialized process of killing off the Jews. Because in there, part of the warped idea was that somehow the Jews were polluting the Nordic and Aryan, hereditary pool, so they needed to get rid of them. My uncle once said to me that if Hitler had taken over the world, there wouldn't have been anyone left apart from him, because, you could find flaws with everyone. And you probably would have heard a lot of this on YouTube, and the reason I'm saying this is because I mentioned before that in 1933 Ernst Rudin passed a law for the prevention of hereditary diseased offspring through the Department of Health. And people have got to realise that just because the Department of Health or a psychiatrist says something doesn't necessarily mean it's true. You have to question things. If Dr. Raj Prasad goes on Richard and Judy and says, like everyone's got a chemical imbalance, don't accept it. Question things. Ask, where's the test? So what if you've got a rubber stamp with the Royal College of Psychiatrists on it? The Nazi doctors were part of a government college of medicine. It doesn't mean anything. So with this video, I just wanted to make people look into the subject. I put some links on the side, or some names that you can look up. Look into this thing. I personally don't think that there will be another Holocaust in the future. I hope not. But I do think that if we don't question authority and we don't question what we're given, it's just going to spiral out of control. At the moment, people think they've got brain diseases, there's something wrong with their brains, everyone's being medicated, they're given ECT treatment when they know that placebo is why some of them are cured. And if we don't question things, I'll be honest, I've got no idea where it's going to end up. And I just, with this video, want people to look into the subject, and we owe it to people that died only 60 years ago to at least look into the subject, not make a silly sculpture where people can just marvel at how many people died, but take the time for those that died to look into the subject, so we can try and make sure nothing like that ever happens again. So with this video, I say thank you once again for watching, and hopefully in the future I'll do maybe another video when I think of something to talk about. But thank you for your time. See you soon.